we can see that New Democracy in the later 90s and the early 2000s turned more populist itself in order to be successful. So in many respects, it imitated many of the sort of practices that PASOK was sort of specializing or excelling in the previous years for this to be successful. So in light of this, I also need to highlight that Syriza's growth has also been possible through the inclusion of party members, especially from PASOK, and people that were not sort of outsiders to the state structures over the last 15, 20 years. So I would argue that sort of it is a bit difficult to say that Syriza is a complete new actor in the field. So it's new, yes, but it also carries many of the old sort of connotations and the meanings that other political parties were communicating in Greek politics. Many argue that Syriza's success has been also very much facilitated by riding this sort of combination of what has been called in Greek political discussions as nationalist populism. So this tradition of left-wing nationalist populism that has been rather strong in Greece, also due to PASOK, was a medium, a vehicle that helped Syriza address its message to higher and sort of wider masses. And in many respects, this proved greatly facilitating electoral success, but may make things very difficult now that it's in power. Because now it's the time to make compromises. Now it's the time to address issues in negotiations with the European partners and with sort of the IMF and the European Central Bank, the Troika. And this is a difficult moment. Many would hope that Syriza would signal its willingness to strike a coalition, strike a sort of a compromise with the European authorities and the Troika by picking a center-left or sort of center party as a coalition partner. And this did not happen. The choice of forming a coalition government with a far right-wing party that was also very strongly anti-EU and anti-reform in its rhetoric gave a signal that Syriza might not be really interested in a compromise, but might be heading towards a sort of a clash with the Europeans. And I think this is the reason, if you look into how, interestingly, the Greek stock market performed, like shortly before the election day, when it was almost certain that Syriza would win, it went up, but it went sharply down when it turned out that Syriza would not be single-party government, and they chose their wrong sort of right-wing partner to form a coalition government. So this is something that is a big question mark in my view. If we look into domestic politics, we can argue that Syriza might be able to corner this party, because Syriza needs some support, and it might be in the medium term able to develop sort of alliances, have new elections maybe under new circumstances so it can become a single party government. But in the short term, it is an issue that needs to be addressed, I think. We can look into the other parties. I think the situation in the chief opposition party, New Democracy, is a very problematic one. Right now, the party appears to be not able to sort of perform the political role that one would have expected. Many would have thought that the former prime minister would leave the position. This has been a tradition in New Democracy over the last decades, that if someone who loses parliamentary elections is resigning immediately, so the party has a sort of new opportunity. But Samaras appears to be thinking, I think, that Syriza will fail very quickly and very badly, so there will be elections and the New Democracy will quickly come to power. I don't find this to be the most likely scenario, but in many respects this prevents the sort of a renewal within the party ranks that I think is essential for the party's sort of recovery into a dominant position in Greek politics.